Within your property management business, are you 100% compliant? Now, there's so many laws coming out, it seems like every week within the United Kingdom. If you're obviously based elsewhere, then obviously you're under rules and laws by your specific country. But in the United Kingdom, there's always certain things happening, and there's certain things in the wind that's going to be coming to the UK soon. I will discuss that in another video. But very, very recently, the government has updated a piece of information which has to be resent out to all of our tenants on behalf of the landlords. Obviously, if you're signing a new tenancy agreement, this document has to be sent out with that. If you've got a periodic tenancy coming up, then you need to make sure you send this document out with that too. What document am I talking about? I'm talking about the government's How to Rent Guide. Now, this How to Rent Guide is basically for tenants. It gives them details of how to look for a property, where to find a property, once they found a property, what the next steps are, once they've moved into the property, the kind of behavior they should have while in the property, how to conduct themselves, obviously how the landlords should conduct themselves and the kind of things that they should do for the tenant. And then when they decide to leave the property, then it will give them specific instructions as to things they need to do to leave the property. If they've been evicted, then the document will give them information as to how the procedure should go if they're evicted. So the government have now updated this specific document in October 2023 with some new information to help tenants. Now I'm going to read from my phone because there's quite a lot of information. So they have inserted into the very bottom of the document the Housing Loss Prevention Advice Service. Now this will give information to tenants with regards to the legal advice they can get to cover a range of things, including repossession claims, rent arrears, issues with welfare benefit payments, debt concerns, disrepair and other problems with housing conditions. Now in the document itself, it lists all the different companies and links to those specific companies that will help tenants. Now this new How to Rent Guide, as I said previously, needs to be given to all new tenants. If possible, you need to archive all previous documents that was created in the past. You need to make sure your new systems have this new information so that when you then onboard any new tenants, you give that to them in their prescribed information. You make sure you give all statutory periodic tenancies that are coming up at the moment. You give all tenants this new document as well. And there's actually no harm in emailing, depending on what your contract says, emailing this document to all of your your current tenants, obviously depending on how many thousands of tenants you have. But it's always advisable, because this is a really crucial piece of information for tenants to have, that they're able to receive legal aid in order to either stop evictions or make sure they're being evicted correctly. And sometimes it's even a case of the appropriate legal team speaking to them and letting them know they didn't conduct themselves in a tenant-like manner. So this document can definitely benefit a letting agent or landlord, because it lets the tenant know how they should conduct themselves within the property, and the kind of behavior they should have, the kind of things that they're responsible for, the kind of things that they have to make sure that they maintain prior to obviously leaving the property. And from the tenant's point of view, it's very beneficial for them too, because it lets them know what kind of things the landlord is responsible for and the letting agent is responsible for, the kind of things that they can call them about, email them about, let them know about in terms of things that need to be repaired, or how they go about getting their deposit back. So this is definitely a really valuable piece of information, a valuable document for both sides of the property management business. In case you're not aware, I am Tanya from Clearview Administration, a virtual assistant business and online business manager. I work with lots of people in the property industry, property managers, estate agents, mortgage brokers, all different property professionals within the property industry, and I work with them behind the scenes of their business, so in their back office, so they're able to concentrate on money generating tasks. If this is something you'd be interested in, please send me an email, tanya@clearviewadministration.co.uk. Now you need to make sure that when you've sent the documents to the tenant that you have an email, ideally an email trail or something signed by the tenant to confirm that they've received these documents. Because if you do not serve this how to rent guide with the tenancy agreement, the EPC, the EICR, all the other specific documents that you need to send, when it comes time to evicting this tenant, because you as a property manager on behalf of the landlord does not want this tenant in the property anymore for whatever reason, if you do not give them the how to rent guide at the start of their tenancy or when their tenancy became periodic, there's a possibility that you will not be able to evict them because you would have not met the eviction criteria. If you need to get someone to audit your business, Arla Property Mark have a team specifically dedicated to auditing your business. If that is something you need, I highly suggest you invest in that, not only for your business but also for your landlords, and making sure your tenants are compliant so that you won't get into any trouble at all, because having a property management business has a lot of legal responsibilities, and you need to make sure that there's no possibility of you being taken to court or, God forbid, going to prison. So please make sure your business is 100% audited and 100% compliant, and this new piece of information from the UK government will also add to that. So please make sure you've read it and you've sent it out to all your tenants as appropriate. So I'd appreciate it if you subscribe to this video. If you thought any of the information I shared today was valuable, I'd very much appreciate it. You don't have to turn on the notification bell, just press the red subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.